Hello YouTube, what is going on? It is GCTV back with another video, and here we are here with week 8 of the NFL. We are already almost halfway through the NFL season. Yeah, I'm going to review all the games up to the Monday night game because, yeah, I got some time. I might as well get the recordings out of the way. I'm actually posting an Ozark video right now as we speak, so let's go. So without wasting any time, we're going to get to the Thursday night game. We have the Bills and the Buccaneers matchup. So Josh Allen gets the Bills off to a fast start and a 6-point win over the Buccaneers. Low energy wasn't going to be an issue for the slow starting Buffalo Bills. That game, and the Bills have struggled this season, but this is a pretty big win to kind of get back on the high horse. Dalton Kincaid had a pretty memorable performance in his early career. The Bills still have people that are super high on them. I don't know if they're even an AFC contender, but there is still hope for this team to make some waves. Talking about the performances, Baker Mayfield 25 for 42 for 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen threw 31 for 40, 324 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but hey, they had everything going right for them. On this team, Rachaad White was really good receiving-wise, 7 catches for 70 yards, and Shakir on the Bills had a really big night. He had 6 catches for 92 yards. Not really much to say about this game, just a solid game, I guess. Gotta get my Packers out of the way because they're quite the poverty franchise. Packers-Vikings game, divisional matchup. Kirk Cousins throws 2 touchdown passes before leaving with an injury, and the Vikings 14-point win over the Packers. Kirk Cousins led the Minnesota Vikings back to relevance after their poor start to the season. But, I think Kirk Cousins is missing the rest of the year with an Achilles tear. That is really unfortunate. Even if they're my division rivals and I'm not a big fan of the team, I still really like Kirk Cousins as a player. But Jordan Addison had a couple big plays. Yeah, man, Kirk Cousins, I don't know. Vikings had the thriller dance with the interception. That was kind of cool. Really good game for Kirk Cousins before the injury, though, man. He is an incredible quarterback in the NFL. He threw 23 for 31, 274 yards, 2 touchdowns. Man, Jordan Love threw 24 for 41. He had a touchdown, but he did throw an interception. So, yeah. And Jordan Love also kind of getting it done on the run. 4 carries for 34 yards. And, KJ Osborne had a good game. Obviously the absence from Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne stepped up and had 8 catches for 99 yards, while we get Jaden Reed out of Michigan State going for 4 catches for 83 yards. I think he has a lot of potential in the NFL, so yeah. I guess it's division week because we have another division matchup here between the Patriots and the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa throws for 3 touchdowns. Jalen Ramsey shines in his debut for the Dolphins, who beat the Patriots by 14. Tua Tagovailoa has never lost to New England coach Bill Belichick, which is kind of a crazy thing to think about given how legendary his career has been. Belichick anyway. Man, Tyreek Hill is one of the most consistent players in the league. He continues to prove that. Juju Smith found the end zone. Dolphins players got wide open. Mostert, one of the best running backs in the league, scoring 9 rush touchdowns this season. And Jalen Ramsey, first game back with the Dolphins, he gets a pick. So, yeah. Mac Jones, 19 for 29. He threw for 2 touchdowns, but he did have that pick to Jalen Ramsey. Talking about Tua, who is probably the MVP frontrunner. 30 for 45, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw a pick. But when everyone else is playing good, you get Raheem Mostert getting in the end zone, and you get Jalen Waddle going for 7 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. A lot is right with the world, and Kendrick Bourne had 3 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown as well, just not enough to get it done for the Dolphins. Get it done for the Patriots, I meant. Now getting into probably the scrappiest game of the week, and it's almost right for it to be a rivalry. We have the Jets and the Giants, the fight of New York. So the Jets stun the Giants late and earn an ugly 3-point overtime win on Greg the Leg Zuerlein's field goal. Sorry, I have the hiccups for no reason. For nearly 60 minutes, Zach Wilson and the New York Jets looked miserable on offense until they were finally able to muster up just enough to win the game. Shout out to Greg Zuerlein for winning the game. And the game-tying field goal also was huge. It was like 1 second on the clock. They got up to the line, spiked it, And yeah, Tommy DeVito got his first NFL touchdown. Uh, Hopefully Tyrod Taylor does well. MetLife is just such a cursed stadium. So many injuries. Brees Hall had a crazy ass touchdown. But yeah, Zach Wilson 17 for 36, 200. I mean, that's not really good. 240 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, Tyrod Taylor threw for 4 for 7, and then he had to leave the game. Um, Zach Wilson also had 4 carries for 25 yards, which was interesting. Garrett Wilson had 7 catches for 100 yards. Pretty poverty game. Not a whole lot going on there, but let's move on. All right, now we have the Jaguars and the Steelers game. So the streaking Jaguars slug their way to a 10-point win over Pittsburgh as Steelers lose their QB, Kenny Pickett, to injury. Hopefully he gets better. The Jacksonville Jaguars believe they can take their brand of football anywhere, regardless of continent, regardless of weather, regardless of the opponent. They are here to stay this year, and they are playing absolutely fantastic. Their defense helped them get the win. The terrible towel celebration was fucking funny. George Pickens had kind of an insane touchdown. Travis Etienne, one of the most consistent players in the NFL, he got a touchdown. And yeah, hopefully, again, Kenny Pickett gets well soon because they're going to need it. I don't think they're going to be able to ride with Mitch Trubisky much at all this season. As Trevor Lawrence finished 24 for 32, 292 yards, and a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but he got outpicked by Mitch Trubisky, who went 15 for 27, had a touchdown, but did throw 2 interceptions. So there you kind of have it. Not a whole lot going on this game. I would say the only other, big standout performance was Deontay Johnson going 8 catches for 85 yards. Deontay Johnson hasn't really been doing much this year, so I guess that's a big deal for him, but still ended up losing. Still unfortunate. Yeah. Here we go. We got the Falcons and Titans game. Rookie Will Levis throws 4 touchdowns in his NFL debuts. The Titans beat the Falcons by 5 points. The Butterflies, Tennessee Titans rookie quarterback Will Levis felt over the past 2 weeks disappeared in this game as he had a breakout performance, an extremely amazing performance, and a lot of his passes went to my boy DeAndre Hopkins, which is awesome. Just burning defense. DeAndre Hopkins. Like he's not the problem on this team. It was the QB all along, and if Will Levis can keep up this consistency, I'd say the Titans can be a pretty solid team by the end of the season. Van Jefferson dropped a huge pass. The Falcons were going to come back, but that happened unfortunately. Taylor Heineke playing in this game found a couple end zones. Will Levis had some beautiful passes in this game. I mean, Bijan Robinson scored. Pretty solid stuff. Taylor Heineke, 12 for 21 at 175 yards and a touchdown. Really not a bad game for him. But it was Will Levis who shined, throwing 19 for 29, 238 yards, 4 touchdowns in his first ever NFL game. Pretty incredible stuff there if you ask me. Bijan Robinson had a good game though. 11 carries, 62 yards and a touchdown. Hodge, I'm not sure who that is, but he had 3 catches for 75, while DeAndre Hopkins had one of his best games in a long time. 4 catches, 128 yards. 3 of those catches were touchdowns. Absolutely insane. Now we have the Rams and the Cowboys game, which was honestly just a beatdown from the start. Dak Prescott throws 4 touchdowns. Bland gets his 3rd pick 6 of the season. Darlin Bland, is that his name? I can't think of what his name is. The Cowboys defeat the Rams by 23. Dak Prescott didn't lean on his defense quite so much this time, which is a really good sign for Cowboys fans. Obviously, you're not playing that good of a Rams team, but still, man. To go out there, win by over 20, this is pretty nice. CeeDee Lamb had a great game. Matthew Stafford had a thumb injury. A lot of injuries this week, really unfortunate. Brandon Cooks going against his former team, he scored a touchdown. Sam Williams had a blocked punt for a safety. I mean, the defense did a little bit, but it was really about Dak Prescott. 25 for 31, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but when Matthew Stafford didn't get as much opportunities, when you're going against a guy like Matthew Stafford who got injured this game too, 13 for 22, 162 yards and a touchdown. He threw a pick as well. You don't really have to go without throwing a pick, honestly. It's fine that Dak threw a pick. As Freeman got in the end zone, you get Darnell Henderson, I think, getting 3 catches for 54 yards, and CeeDee Lamb having a fantastic game, one of the best games of the week, one of the best performances of the week, 12 catches, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. Here we go, Panthers and Texans. Bryce Young beats C.J. Stroud as the Panthers claim their first victory of the season over the Titans. It wasn't a pretty one. They only won by 2 points, but they get it done. Bryce Young has heard the criticism, the suggestion that Carolina made the wrong choice by taking him number 1 overall instead of C.J. Stroud, who has put up big numbers for Houston, and he didn't really prove anything. Did he really I guess he did kind of outplay C.J. Stroud, but yeah. Walk-off field goal for the Panthers and won the game. C.J. Stroud had a couple big plays, though. The Panthers' defense was a little much for his other players, forcing fumbles and whatnot. But Bryce Young finding Tommy Tremble for a touchdown. Avoiding rushes, making big plays in the pocket. Good game for Bryce Young here. Who ended up throwing 22 for 31, 235 yards and a touchdown, arguably one of his best games of his early NFL career. And we get C.J. Stroud throwing 16 for 24. That's really about it. What is this guy's name? Noah Brown? 3 catches, 57 yards. Pretty solid game for him for the Texans. That's really all I have to say. Pretty boring game. Next, we have the Saints and the Colts game to talk about. Derek Carr rebounds from a tough week as the Saints beat the Colts by 11. Derek Carr spent the past week answering questions about his sideline demeanor, and now he comes out, gets a big one for the Saints, gets them to 500. Alvin Kamara had 2 touchdowns, a lot to celebrate there. Gardner Minshew making some pretty big plays in the pocket. Obviously wasn't enough, but yeah. Saints have some really crafty plays. I don't know who their coach is, but shout out to him. I can't think of who their coach is. They have some great play calling on that side. Raheed Shaheed taking advantage of being one of the fastest players in the NFL, probably. Big touchdown for him. Yeah, Taysom Hill had a really, really big game here for this Saints team. Sorry, what the fuck was I doing? But Derek Carr, 19 for 27, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really good game for him. Honestly, not that bad of a game for Gardner Minshew either. 23 for 41, 23 for 41 and 2 touchdowns ain't bad. He did throw a pretty costly pick. Jonathan Taylor played out of his damn mind, though. 12 carries, 95 yards. Guess it doesn't matter when you have Taysom Hill on the other side going for 9 carries, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns. Raheed Shaheed had an insane game, 3 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown, while Josh Downs continues to have a pretty consistent year himself, 7 catches for 72 yards. Really, really good game here offensively. Quite a show these two teams put on. Next, the Eagles and the Commanders. The Commanders are a team who have been given the Eagles hell in both the games they played. This game is no different. Hurts throws for 4 touchdowns on an injured knee, though, to help the Eagles beat the Commanders and improve to 7-1. They are now pretty much officially the best team in the NFL. Walking gingerly back to the huddle after an early run. It was clear Jalen Hurts was hampered by his injury, but he was able to overcome it. They were able to win the game. Great performance by him. Good defensive plays, offense alike for the Eagles, getting it done, able to clinch the game, walk out with a victory. Julio Jones scored his first touchdown as an Eagle. That was pretty cool. The Commanders had a couple blown coverages and stuff, but Logan Thomas made some pretty decent plays. It's just the Eagles. The Eagles are too good, man. Jalen Hurts, 29 for 38, 319 yards, 4 touchdowns, an absolutely fantastic performance for him. Sam Howell, though, he played out of his mind too. 39 for 52, 397 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did throw a pretty costly pick there as we get Brian Robinson, 10 carries, 59 yards. DeAndre Swift got in the end zone as well. A lot of offense here. A.J. Brown, 8 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, kind of continuing to prove why he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Jahan Dotson, 8 catches, 108 yards, and a touchdown. Good game for a lot of players, so yeah. Next, we have the Browns and Seahawks game. Pretty solid game here. Geno Smith throws a late touchdown pass to Jackson Smith-Njigba, and the Seahawks beat the Browns by 4 points. Clutch stuff for Geno Smith. Him and DeAndre Hopkins were feeling the same this week. They wrote him off. They didn't write back. Jamal Adams used his head to give Geno Smith a chance at some late heroics that helped vault the Seattle Seahawks into first place in the NFC West. How crazy is that? The Seahawks are now the best team in the NFC West. The go-ahead score from Geno Smith. Cameron Mitchell had a big dropped pick six. That was a bad play for the Browns. Maurice Hurst II had a pick. Kareem Hunt scored. Geno Smith got Tyler Lockett a touchdown or two maybe. But, good win for the Seahawks there. They probably are contenders up to this point. They are one of the better teams in the NFC. P.J. Walker threw for 248 yards and a touchdown. He did throw two picks. Geno Smith, 23 for 37, 54 yards, two touchdowns. He threw two picks of his own. But hey, when you have Kenneth Walker on your team going for 8 carries for 66, when you have Tyler Lockett going for 8 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown, there's not really a lot to fret about. Kareem Hunt did get in the end zone, and Amari Cooper had 6 catches for 89 yards, but just really good stuff by their defense, and the Browns obviously made mistakes throughout the game. So yeah, I think it's now official that the Cardinals might be the worst team in the NFL. Obviously, they're 1-7 now. Going against the Ravens here. Gus Edwards runs for 3 touchdowns. The Ravens defense is able to help them get a 7-point win over the Cardinals. Baltimore gave up a touchdown right out of the gate and 2 more in the fourth quarter, but hey, those second and third quarters were brutal for the Cardinals. Couldn't get anything. Gus Edwards played absolutely incredible. Trey McBride got in the end zone. The refs had some interesting ball placements for the Cardinals, I will say. Mark Andrews, being in his hometown of Arizona, scored a touchdown. The tush push, the famous tush push, Josh Dobbs took advantage of this game. Lamar Jackson, 18 for 27, he threw a touchdown. Josh Dobbs, 25 for 37, he threw 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 picks. The Ravens defense was playing incredible this game. Gus Edwards had 3 touchdowns. Mark Andrews had 4 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown, while Trey McBride also had a touchdown of his own. So, not really a whole lot to talk about this game. Interesting, it was a bit scrappy at times, so yeah. Man, I'm not sure what the hell this game was from the Chiefs, but Russell Wilson and Justin Simmons lead the Denver Broncos to the first win over the Chiefs since 2015 with a 15-point thrashing. This wasn't even a close game, really. Justin Simmons never paid much attention to the Broncos' long losing streak to the Kansas City Chiefs or the way Patrick Mahomes had owned them over since winning in Denver in his first NFL start back in 2017. A lot of big plays. Broncos got the dub. You got to give them credit. They're actually not that bad of a team right now. Russell Wilson, amazing throwing performance. Patrick Mahomes got picked off twice in this game. 3 Chiefs turnovers in the first half from the Broncos defense. This was just a masterclass from them. Good stuff by Russell Wilson. Jerry Jeudy had his first touchdown catch of the season. Patrick Mahomes, 24 for 38, 241 yards. He did have 2 interceptions, though. Russell Wilson, 12 for 19. He threw for 3 touchdowns, which is kind of insane. A lot of setup from his offense to get him in position. Isaac Pacheco had 8 carries for 40 yards. And, Jerry Jeudy, 2 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. That's really it. This game was a bit sloppy. So, Broncos were able to come out on top, though. This is the last Sunday, during the day game before we get to the Sunday night game, but we have the Bengals and the 49ers. Joe Burrow throws 3 touchdown passes to lead the Bengals past the 49ers, winning by 14. Quite a slump here we're seeing from the 49ers. Joe Burrow set the tone early when he ducked out of 2 sack attempts, scrambled away, and converted a 3rd down pass that extended a game-opening touchdown drive for Cincinnati, who has had their opening drive woes recently, but they're starting to figure it out. The Bengals always have this 4-game stretch where they're absolutely horrible, and then they just go crazy. I don't know what it is. Jamar Chase had that backflip after the touchdown. Joe Mixon got in the end zone. McCaffrey, touchdown streak. 17 straight games with a touchdown. He's making history. 2 straight passes from Brock Purdy, though, ended up in picks. Iosivas got a touchdown as Joe Burrow's just kind of finding anyone he can to get in the end zone there. Speaking of Burrow, 28 for 32, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. Fantastic game from him. You get Brock Purdy throwing 22 for 31, 365 yards and a touchdown. But those 2 interceptions definitely cost him the game. But shout out to Purdy, though, getting out with his legs as well. 6 carries for 57 yards. Joe Mixon, great game for him. 16 carries, 87 yards and a tutty. Jamar Chase had a great game. 10 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. And we get George Kittle with a fantastic, probably masterclass tight end performance for the week. 9 catches, 149 yards. So, yeah, man. Pretty good game offensively, but, yeah. Now we have the Sunday night game. We have the Bears and the Chargers. Pretty bad game here, obviously. Justin Herbert throws for 3 touchdowns. The Chargers get back on track with a 17-point win over the Bears. Leading up to Sunday night, Brandon Staley was looking for his Los Angeles Chargers to have a game where they could put all 3 phases together. You have the defense, you have the offense, you have the special teams, and they have the potential to be a really good team. They just kind of haven't found their stride yet here. 2 interceptions against Tyson Bagent from the Chargers defense. They played amazing. Tyson Bagent also got in the end zone himself running the ball. Darnold Parham, man, he is starting to prove how elite of a tight end he can be. 6'8", 270. He's a stud. They definitely need to give him the ball more. Darrington Evans was cool. A cool little touchdown there. Fehoko on a crossing route. Fehoko was a guy that played with Kellen Moore on the Cowboys, so it's really interesting to see that connection. But yeah, Tyson Bagent, 25 for 37, but he did throw 2 interceptions. Not a great game for him. Justin Herbert, 31 for 40, 3 touchdowns. You get a great game for Austin Eckler, 7 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. One of his better receiving performances in a minute, and he damn near has helped me get a fantasy win. I'm not really supposed to win right now, but I have some confidence. I don't think it's over yet. But, yeah, I'm going to see you guys for this Monday night game. I'm either going to be happy or sad about my fucking fantasy team. So, yeah. Well, at the time I'm recording this, James Harden was just traded to the Clippers, so I will talk about that in my recap video tomorrow. That is completely off topic from the NFL. My apologies there. But, yeah, we have the Monday night game to talk about. We have the Lions and the Raiders. Lions lean on Jahmyr Gibbs' legs and Jared Goff's arm in a 12-point win over offensively challenged Raiders. The Detroit Lions can trace their turnaround to hitting more than missing in the draft. Yeah, they have more hits and misses in the last couple of years, and that's just why. That's why their team is so good now. Jahmyr Gibbs is finally becoming a great running back, and when David Montgomery comes back, I don't even know if they're going to play him like that, so... Yeah. First home touchdown of his career was cool. Devontae Adams obviously expressing his frustrations towards the Raiders organization. Just a shitty-ass team. I don't know what to say. He does not deserve to be there. 3 sacks in 1 drive against Jimmy Garoppolo. Marcus Peters had a nice little pick six. It's cool to see an NFL OG do something like that. But Jared Goff, pretty fantastic game for him. Nothing amazing, but enough to get him down the field. He finished 26 for 37, 272 yards, and a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but considering how Jimmy Garoppolo played, only throwing for 126 yards and a pick, yeah, there's not really much to say here. The Jimmy G just does not need to be on this team anymore, as you get Josh Jacobs going for a rush touchdown, as well as 2 catches for 27 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs' absolute breakout game here. 26 carries, 152 yards, and a touchdown. He played phenomenal, and obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown continuing to hold up the consistency of his breakout years here. 6 catches, 108 yards. It is crazy to see how quick that man has hit his prime. But, yeah, that's really all I have to say about the game. I'm out, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the videos. Five Nights at Freddy's video is going crazy. I really appreciate what you guys are doing for me there. Yeah, I guess I'll just catch you guys in the next one, and next week, every single week. If you're just here for the NFL content, don't worry. Every single week of the regular season, every week of the playoffs, I'm covering every single game this year. No game will go untalked about. So, yeah, this will be posted Halloween, a little bit in the morning. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get a Halloween costume together for you guys this year. It's probably going to be the same as all the years. You guys know what it is, but... just kind of have some spirit. I don't know. The NBA recap, I'll put on something funny. So leave a like, comment, subscribe. I know I'm rambling, but I'm out, guys. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever, whenever you're watching this.